Years ago, and I had a fellow come to me who wanted I'm primarily a rocking chair maker, and he wanted a rocking chair, and he wanted it out of walnut, which is fine. That's what I do a lot. So I started putting together the order, and then he said, I want it black. I said, I thought you wanted walnut. He said, yeah, I want it black. I said, well, fine, I'll give you a wood that's good, strong, and sturdy, and we'll make it black. He said, no, you don't understand. I want walnut. I want it black. And as I cried a little bit, going, what am I going to do with this walnut? I went out and got the walnut. I built the chair, and we made it black. So I had to find out how to ebonize, how to turn it what I thought was black. I turned back to what I said. I used to be an engineer, and I had what was called a problem-solving matrix. I'm going to share it with you because we're going to work through that today. First thing you do is you define the problem. The problem was I had wood that needed to be ebonized. Okay? Secondly, what you do is you research the possible solutions. How can you solve the problem? Then you pick some solutions. Then finally you test the solutions. And then finally the fifth one is you pick the solution. And that's what we're going to do here. I went through, I've got 3 solutions, and I want to kind of walk through them this way. And if you have a problem, approach it that way, and it really helps. Einstein said that he never solved a problem, he just defined a whole bunch of them. And I think that's what it really amounts up to, because as you define the problem, you'll find out that you, in effect, are solving it. Okay? So, sorry, excuse me. The first thing I wanted to say was, go back to my page here, what is ebonizing? Everybody's got a whole different idea, I found out. To me, ebonizing is just making it black. I have a quote in here, if you talk to a museum type person, they want it kind of reddish brown. Another idea of ebonizing is a chemical reaction that turns it anywhere from charcoal to black. So, what is ebonizing? I started looking it up. I went to the source of all knowledge of the universe. Google. And you start Googling things, and you start finding out what people think are ebony. First of all, what is ebony? That's the first thing I wanted to ask myself. What is ebony? Ebony is wood, yeah, but ebony is technically from the phylum family of Diasporus. No big deal, but it'll say Diasporus something. Okay. And then they change the definition and say, if it's black. Okay, Texas blackwood or Texas ebony is not truly a Diasporus wood. It's not really an ebony, but it is an ebony. Whinge is not technically an ebony, but it's a dark wood, and it's considered ebony. Ebony today, if you get it from Africa, you are probably getting ready to do 20 years in jail, because nothing coming out of Africa is legal. Nothing. No ebony coming out of Africa is legal. So if they say it came out of Africa, they're either lying to you or you're going to get ready to be in trouble. Okay? It's all products are being made in Africa. But it comes from other places, Sri Lanka, Jamaica, southern Texas, I guess, for their type, Ceylon, anywhere along the tropics. And generally speaking, ebony is a dark or black wood that when placed in water sinks. Okay? That's the big one. It's got to be heavy enough that it sinks. And the third characteristic is that when you turn it or polish it, it's extremely close grained, and it will polish like plastic. Almost exactly like when you ebonize something like maple. Okay? Think of a clarinet. A clarinet is usually used to be made out of ebony. Okay? So after I determined what was ebony, makes it a little easier. I can go from a red-brown to a black. I prefer solid black. And that's my goal today, is solid black. Okay? So I wanted to clear it up just so that we know, because some people, like I said, will tell you that is not ebonizing wood. Okay? All right. Change my pages here. So I picked 3 solutions. 3 solutions. I went out and after I did that that check a couple of years ago, I determined that the most common one that comes up is iron acetate, vinegar and steel. Have you ever heard of that? You take vinegar together and steel. How many have actually tried it? How many have actually got a cold black finish from it? I'm going to tell you how to do that. That's the first thing I'm going to tell you. And then I'm going to tell you two other ways that are quicker. All right? So we'll start with that one. First thing you do, get yourself a plastic bottle. Plastic, underlined, bold, colored plastic, not glass. Why? You take this in a glass bottle and you drop it, it stains everything. Take plastic. Trust me, okay? The second thing you do is you drill little holes in the top. 1/8 inch holes, 2 or 3. Okay? You put it up and you grab yourself some steel wool and tear it apart in a couple of pieces and you just stuff it in there. Okay? Now I'm OCD. Matter of fact, I'm so OCD that I'm really CDO. But this is one of these things where you really can't be. You just grab it and throw it in. You start this at least a week ahead of when you need this solution. At least a week. Okay? What I do is I go get straws. I get orange ones. Why? Because my cap is orange. Okay? You go down and I told you I'm OCD. You go down and you get these plastic straws. You go get them. I got these from Bed Bath & Beyond. But I'm going to tell you, I was in there because my wife was in there. I did not go in there on my own. Manly man. Yes, I did. I went and got these straws. Go in and get these plastic straws. Now, why? You stick them in here like this. Okay? Yep. Good stuff. Tastes like steel. Okay? And then the next step is you go get yourself some vinegar. Get the kind that says cleaning vinegar. You know why? It's cheaper, yeah. Guys from Missouri. Okay, what the deal is a cleaning vinegar has a higher percentage of acetic acid. It's stronger, okay? Now, I forgot to tell you one thing, though. Before you put the stainless steel or the steel in, get yourself some simple green. Go put it in the sink and wash all the oil off of the steel wool. Did you know it has oil on it? Some people don't know that, but I take all the steel wool whenever I work on a turning and it's been washed. I don't want oil on my turnings. But anyway, so stick it in a little bucket or something, put some simple green. It's a degreaser, and you put it on there and it gets the oil off. Okay? Now then, back up and you stick it in there. You put your orange straws in there from Bed Bath & Beyond, and you take your vinegar, and I'm not going to do it because it stinks like crazy, and you pour it in until it's about 3 times the height of your steel. I keep saying stainless steel. Your steel wool. About here. See where that little rusty spot is? You pour it in, put the cap on it. Now you see why I put the straws in? Now this doesn't float up. If it floats up, it rides on the top, and it will rust. When it rusts and you put it on wood, this is what you get. Okay? That's what you get. When you do it right, this next rack is what you get. You're going to get anywhere between a charcoal grayish color on maple to a dark, dark black on, that's my cleaning solution, isn't it? Naphtha. It's good stuff. And all the way up to a black on, but if you let that ride to the top and you get a high degree of that rust in it, it's never going to turn it black. Okay? It's going to turn it rusty color. Okay. So now once we get this, it sets for a week. It's going to stink. That's why you got the hose. It lets the gas out. You don't want to ever forget the hose. This will blow. It will blow up. I'll tell you the story about my grandfather doing a root beer in the basement sometime. Great story. Okay. It gets gas in it. Okay. So what we do is we end up with this stuff. It's called iron acetate. It looks kind of rusty. Once you get this out, You can run it through some coffee filters if you want to. It helps. But it still has a pretty high iron content in there, sometimes some small particles. Okay? What you do is pretty straightforward. You take the one that says iron acetate, get yourself a cheap brush, one of the little bristle brushes down. Cheap brush because it's going to get ruined. Doesn't matter what kind of brush it is. Okay? You mix that up and you put that across there and nothing. And you go, what in the world happened? Nothing. It don't work. Lay it down. Trust me, it don't work. And on oak, and you just brush it on there like that. On walnut, walnut's a little faster. On cherry, I did some cherry. Let's do some maple. Okay. Now, it doesn't take long to see that the cherry's already turning and the walnut's already turning. The oak is starting to turn, and the maple just looks pathetic. What's the difference? Tannin. What is tannin? Whoever said that? It's a vegetable protein, actually. And what it is, it's in certain vegetables. It's also in your skin. If you get that on you, well, I just did. It'll make you black. Okay? So, one of the things you can do is you can make the iron acetate, and it will work pretty good with this because walnut has got high tannin content. Cherry has high tannin content. Oak, so-so. Depends on the kind of oak, and I'm going to show you here in a minute. Actually, the one going around, you're going to see that Ernie's got in his hands. One side is charcoal colored, and the other side is black. Look at the back of that board, and you'll see why. Okay? I'm not going to tell you. Look at the board. Those of you who saw it, I'm going to tell you anyway. One of them's red oak, and one of them's white oak. And red oak has a higher content of tannin. Okay. Sometimes this works with your iron acetate mixture. This one's working pretty good. That's cool. That's just fine. Okay? Sometimes it doesn't. And it doesn't matter. You can mix it up the same way. Temperature, all sorts of things. I swear it. The time of the month, I don't know. It changes. I've done this hundreds of times. Seems like it. It's always different. So you have to kind of learn to adjust. One of the best ways to adjust is to add tannin to the mix. Let me put this in here and get some on my hands, because I don't want to dump it on you. Hey, kick it off on mine. They'll hunt you down. Okay. Take about 10 or 12 bags of tea, put them in a pint or just a little over a quart, bring it to a boil in the microwave, and you get this very strong tea. What is one of the contents of tea? Tannin. Now you can take it and augment the tannin. You see what happened? Okay? Ooh, everybody said, ooh. Okay, I'm trying to keep it all in my hands. That's why I should have had my gloves on. Okay, here's the cherry. I'm going to do it up here so we can